episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast is sponsored by the Keep It Real Challenge. If you want to learn my process for how I record and edit a month of reels in 1 hour, that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in the Keep It Real Challenge. This is something that I do all the time. So over a 5-day period, I'm going to be taking you through my process of research, planning, finding my audio, setting my goals, choosing outfits, everything, recording and editing, everything that you need to know about creating reels is going to be in that challenge, because I don't know if you've heard, but reels is the new wave on Instagram, and it's a surefire way to increase your visibility and engagement on the platform. So if you haven't been doing reels, you definitely want to jump on the bandwagon, okay? And at the end of the Keep It Real Challenge, you have the opportunity to enter the Keep It Real bonus, where you'll have the chance to win $100 for creating a reel, okay? So all of the details are going to be inside of the challenge. I don't want to give away too much information, but what you need to do right now, if you're interested, is text me at 202-519-4652. Text me the words challenge accepted if you want more information on how to enter that challenge when details are dropped. You'll be the first to know, okay? I hope to see you in the Keep It Real Challenge. Now, let's get back to the episode.
That image is everything, and as a brand, my presence is consistent. I think for some people it may be pressure because you have not realized your power in your presence, but I understand my power and my presence. So no, you probably won't see me looking like I just rolled out of bed. That's just not my aesthetic, and it's not my brand. I represent excellence. I represent my brand. I represent what it means to show up and be a face of your business and of your industry. If I work in beauty, then I should represent beauty, and that's what I do. And so I take that very seriously. So it's definitely not pressure. It is a duty to represent myself and the industry to the best of my ability.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Aquia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives, just like you, on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here with me, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join our community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. What I like to do is something called the Friends in Beauty Friday feature, where every Friday I spotlight a different friend in beauty and their accomplishments. So no matter how big or small you think it is, I want to shout you out. I want to send you some good vibes. So all you have to do is use the hashtag FIB Friday feature, tag Friends in Beauty on something that you have accomplished, and I'll share it with the community. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I truly appreciate you so much. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a comment, a like, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. I would absolutely love it. And also, I have to tell you that you should join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe if you haven't already, because they are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different business resources, tips, and advice throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, the link for that will be in the description as well. And last but not least, the most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome the founder of Shyft Beauty Consulting Agency, Melissa Hibbert, to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Melissa is a former corporate marketing executive turned beauty entrepreneur, a natural business evolution for her, combining a successful background in multicultural advertising, brand and product, and entertainment marketing with her immense passion for beauty. Melissa has always wanted women to feel empowered in their beauty. To accomplish that, she has built a remarkable career as a go-to beauty expert in film and television, and took a strategic pivot to become a beauty brand consultant to established and emerging brands. Shyft Beauty was created from Melissa's intentions to create a lasting change, to make an impact, and to help the beauty industry move or shift into more diverse and inclusive space, while also providing access to brands and beauty founders who are often underserved. Melissa is an advisor, mentor, and tech investor, but most importantly, she is a mother to her beautiful and vibrant daughter, Milan. And one more thing, she has a penchant for wearing red lipstick, collecting books, visits to vineyards, listening to reggae music, and frequent visits to the spa. Melissa serves on the board of directors for the Art of True Light Inc. She is also a tech investor to Streamlytics and a proud supporter of award winner Beautiful Spirited Women, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering and advocating for girls. I had such an amazing chat with Melissa. In this interview, she shares how she merged her love of marketing and beauty to create Shyft Beauty, why it's important for her to support underserved beauty brands of color, where most creators go wrong with their marketing efforts, how networking plays a role in her business, how she balances motherhood, being a businesswoman, and self-care, and so much more. So let's go ahead and jump into this amazing chat with Melissa. And if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Melissa.
Hi, thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Like I was just sharing with you, I've been following you on social media for years. So this is truly like a treat for me to be able to, sit down and talk to you today.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. So before we jump into the interview, I would love to just start off with some icebreakers to just get us warmed up. And I always say just to have the audience get to know you a little bit outside of the world of beauty. So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh, okay. Random facts. I collect books. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have a dream of having my own home-built library. So that's definitely on that vision board of mine. I love to get pampered. So I'm like at the spa often.
Okay.
And I love the outdoors. Like I'm an outdoors girl. I was born in Jamaica, so I'm used to nature. So I love to get out and enjoy Mother Nature as much as possible.
That is so cool because I just took off my Jamaican flag that was laying down my edges.
Uh-oh.
My father's from Trelawney, so I have my little flag.
Okay. Oh, nice. Well, your edges are laid, so mission accomplished.
Thank you. So I have these things called pod decks. And it's like random crazy questions in here, but one is a what the heck deck and one is a would you rather deck. Which one would you like me to pull a random question for you?
What the heck is good.
What the heck? Yeah, okay. We haven't gotten that one in a while. Let's see. Random card.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of cool. It says, what's the scariest sound you can hear in the middle of the night?
Oh gosh, definitely a scream.
Mm-hmm.
A woman's scream.
Right. And that's the type
never good.
Right.
Never good.
Yeah. What is something weird or interesting that you do when no one is watching?
Weird or interesting? What did I do when no one's watching? Oh Lord. Oh, I have a daughter, she's 4, and we do a lot of dancing together. We'll turn on YouTube and she's got these little girls on YouTube and we literally have a full-on dance session. Just she and I never put that on social media, but it is just she and I getting down, dancing, and just enjoying each other. So
I love that.
And I'm not that great of a dancer, which is probably why I don't put it on social media. But for her, I'm like the greatest thing. And she, it just gives an opportunity to bond.
I absolutely love that. Oh my gosh. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
Well, they definitely can't say I'm good at cooking. So we know that's out of the question. outside of my profession, I don't know. I think that I think I get compliments all the time. Just I'm always just looking out for people. Like if I see something, and I know somebody
Yeah.
wants or needs something, I'm like always looking out. So I get those kinds of, I actually got a few this morning. Like, I just want you to know, I know you're tired of hearing this, but I appreciate you. So it's just like I'm just always looking out.
I love that. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you travel often?
Well, in these COVID streets, but prior to COVID, yes.
Yeah. What's your favorite place that you travel to?
Favorite place I've traveled to is St. Bart's. Whoo, Lord. One
Okay.
of the most magnificent experiences of my life. Beautiful island, just rich on every level. And
Uh-huh.
I was here for all of
Yes, all the lemons. I love
it.
that. If
Yeah.
you weren't a makeup artist or the CEO of Shyft Beauty, what else could you see yourself doing?
Oh, God. So it's two things, and it has nothing to do with each other.
Mhm.
But I'd be able to sing like Whitney Houston in another life. I always say that, that would be my thing. Like, I'd be a combination of like Whitney Houston and Anita Baker. Both of them, I absolutely adore. Their voices are spectacular. It's just something unique and powerful. So I'd be like a singer entertainer. The other side, I'd be a lawyer. Like, that's what I thought I was going to do. I majored in pre-law in college. Uh, LSAT had other plans for me. So I kind of, retreated and focused on marketing, which I'm not mad that I did, but I'd either be a world class R&B diva or a high-powered entertainment attorney.
Hey, I love it. Both are still powerful. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I would love to know what led you into beauty. So you mentioned marketing. So marketing came first and
Mhm.
then beauty?
No, beauty always came first.
Okay.
When I was a teenager, in fact, I just, fell in love with the power of beauty after uh, would say taking, but I know I stole my mom's lipstick out of her purse, took it on the bus,
You
school bus
borrowed
with
it.
me.
You borrowed it.
I borrowed it, yes. And I wore it all day, and I remember just the attention and the compliments and also the inspiration that other girls felt like, oh, wow, they're wearing lip gloss and I'm wearing this bold red lipstick. And it was just that moment of just the conversation around it. Me being a brown girl and standing out when, in the 80s, well, this was what early 90s, brown girls weren't in, right? We
Yeah.
just, let's be real. There's always that question of, pretty for a dark skinned girl, and, to be wearing a color that allowed me to stand out even more was an empowering moment. And
Yeah.
so while in beauty school, my friends and I also enrolled, while in high school, my friends and I also enrolled in beauty school. So
Nice.
we were in high school during the week and beauty school on the weekends. And, it was there that I cultivated my desire to master beauty on all levels. However, I chose not to continue beauty as a profession after high school. I wanted the college experience. So
Hmm.
I enrolled in HBCU. I attended the illustrious Fisk University. And but even while in college, I found an abandoned salon, and I was doing hair and makeup in that salon while in college. So it's always been a part of me. Even in
Yeah.
corporate America, I snuck around doing beauty. And when it was time for me to really just, what I call the shift, step into that area that was calling more creativity for me, I went right back to beauty after 14 years in corporate marketing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So when you came here from Jamaica, where did you grow up? Where did you
Right here in Los Angeles.
Nice.
Right here in Los Angeles. We landed here in LA, and we lived here until the early 90s, and then moved up to Oregon, Portland, Oregon.
Awesome. Awesome. So that whole corporate stint that you had, how does that play a role in what you do, like what you were doing as a makeup artist?
You know, for me, the idea to walk away from a corporate career, a six-figure lifestyle, and all of the titles that came with it was very strategic. It was for me an opportunity to pivot in a way that ultimately design the kind of life and business that I would want. I could not get the opportunity to do what I'm doing here and now while working in corporate America. I pitched and I even presented opportunities for me to, be a marketing professional, work on beauty accounts and do the different things. And it just, I had some small-minded HR people and managers who couldn't understand the vision. So I had to step away
Yeah.
and carve it out this way. And the best thing for me to do was navigate the industry as an artist and as a competent, and professional artist, build, those relationships, do great work. I've always believed no matter what I'm doing, even if I'm backing in floors, I'm going to do it with a spirit of excellence. And so and that's what I did. And so the idea of being a makeup artist coming from corporate America was incredibly strategic to get to the point now where I'm able to, run a beauty marketing agency and work across the board. And so I'm both creative directing as well as, brand management simultaneously. I could not have done this with a job description. I had to create the job description and run it as a business.
Right. Oh my gosh. How have you seen the beauty industry change over the years that you've been in it, like good, bad, or like indifferent?
I think when I came into it, I left corporate America in 2012. So I came into it at a time where, social media was far more, pervasive. And, you had a lot of people now being fascinated with the industry, as much as I was as well. I came into an environment that was highly competitive. I mean, Los Angeles, where you have some of the most amazing and talented veteran makeup artists that have spent a lot of time, growing their business here. And so I was sort of stepping into that space and trying to carve out a space of my own. And I did that in my way. But I also saw that a lot of other people did it through the means of blogging. I mean, doing video blogs and, as influencers and those kinds of things. And that was fine. But I also saw that there was also sort of a, less of a focus on quality more than quantity, right? And so I saw a lot of people rushing to get into the industry, but did not have a business mindset and did not see themselves as a business. So they made a lot of mistakes. And so that was for me the advantage that I came from a corporate background. I came from a lot of discipline. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. So I wasn't the average makeup artist.
Right.
And so, so it has changed in terms of the low barrier to entry to become a beauty professional is real in terms of you can say tomorrow, I want to be a makeup artist and go buy products, get a kit. And now you can, get a client and now you're a makeup artist.
Right.
And so, but there's a lot more that goes into creating a business and a brand. And so I've seen it change where I think people are becoming more aware of that. And I think COVID has also changed that, as well. You're no longer in demand. It's sort of like, you're no longer, you're more in demand now because clients really want to work with people who understand both the business and the artistry side of the industry.
Right. Where do you see most creatives drop the ball when it comes to the business side? Because we just want to be creative. We just want to paint faces or do hair and everything. Where do you see them drop the ball the most?
I think tremendously just a lack of understanding about how to see themselves as a business, setting themselves up as a business entity and a structure, protecting themselves in terms of, liability when it comes to, insurance and even insuring your kit. I've seen so many makeup artists post on Instagram, oh, my kit was stolen from my trunk, and they go do these GoFundMe campaigns. And, what if you had, insurance that would have been covered. But so there's just those areas. And then the marketing piece, I think that you're more than just an artist, you're a brand in terms of you have a skill and a talent that the world wants to see. So I always say, I tell makeup artists, like, don't just feel like you're just the person behind the scenes. You're creating moments for people to show up, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to either. And I think that there's sometimes that mentality that I need to be seen and not heard, or seen and not seen, you know what I mean? In terms of I can show up with a client, but let me just fall back in the background, which is completely fine, but you're not with the client all the time. What do you do in your own personal time with your own personal brand? What are you doing to build and cultivate that? What other streams of income as a professional, as a makeup artist or a beauty professional are you looking at? What makes sense for you? All those things. What are brand partnership opportunities? How can you leverage your talent to be on camera? What kind of courses can you create?
Yeah.
What kind of products can you get into? Like it's a ton of ways, but I just think that even down to paperwork management,
Mhm.
making sure your contracts are right, knowing how to respond to invoices and push those through, all the things that that business requires. I think a lot of times creatives just like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not what I want to deal with. But I think that it's important and vital for you to know your business better than anyone else.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned stepping from behind the scenes, because that's
Hmm.
one thing I wanted to ask you was basically any tips that you have for those makeup artists that do want to step from behind the brushes and be more of a face like of a brand, or collaborate with brands and do correspondent work and speak on their behalf. Like, how would they go about doing something like that?
Yeah, just do it. You have to get in front of the camera, and it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that camera, that the strategic moment where this brand wants to work with you. Start small, work with what you have. We all have iPhones, or for those, God forbid, those who have Androids. You you start to use what you have. Show up on camera so you can get more comfortable with that. Do reviews, do product reviews. What's in your kit? What did you learn today on set? Create your own YouTube channel, create your own. I used to create this show called Behind the Glam, and then I had another one called Glam Style. These are just my own little content that I developed and curated and put out there just to show myself in front of the camera, show my skill set and my knowledge. So I
Right.
would say that it starts with you being in control of how you put that out there, and then you'll start to get eyeballs. And then you can then, once you start to reach out, say, hey, this is what I look like on camera. This is how I articulate. This is how, this is my brand knowledge and my product knowledge. Would love to work with you. But if you have nothing to show,
Right.
then they have nothing to buy into.
I absolutely love that. Do you ever feel like pressure to always be on, like, hair, makeup? Do you ever feel like, okay, I could just show up with, no glam and just be fine? Or do you have to always, 'cause you
You mean
never
when
look bad. You
you mean
always
when I'm
like,
working? You mean when I'm working?
when you're working or just like showing up on like social media.
Oh yeah. I mean, I believe that image is everything, and as a brand, my presence is consistent. I think for some people it may be pressure because you have not realized your power in your presence. But I understand my power and my presence. So no, you probably won't see me, looking, like I just rolled out of bed. That's just not my aesthetic, and it's not my brand. I represent excellence. I represent, my brand. I represent, what it means to show up and be a face of your business and of your industry. If I work in beauty, then I should be represent beauty, and that's what I do. And so I take that very seriously. So it's definitely not pressure. It is a duty to represent myself and the industry to the best of my ability.
I love that. Yes, I love the way you explain that. I would love to talk about Shyft Beauty and how that came about. Was it from
Mhm.
your love of marketing and beauty and just, you were able to finally combine it in your own way?
Yes, it's the perfect intersection. Like I said, it's the job I created the business based on the job description I wish that I always had, and for me, Mark, I have a great marketing brain. I was very clear about that when I worked in corporate America. There were many brands and certainly bosses that benefited from my brain. And I get it. Like for me, that's what I was born to do. And so when I entered beauty, and my heart is passionate about beauty, but I didn't want to leave, the business side of marketing behind. I needed to find a way to marry the two.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that was to, again, create a business that was a reflection of both worlds. And both of those worlds are dynamic enough to, help move the industry forward, as well as support brands as they continue to thrive and grow.
Nice. What are the criteria for a certain brand to be accepted on your roster? What are you looking for?
Well, Shift Beauty. So my company, I had the Glam agency prior, so that could be what you're referring to. So the Glam agency was an agency that I created that was sort of a broker for talent, between talent and production, to
Mhm.
getting them jobs and working in film and television. And for a long time it worked. I was able to put a lot of, makeup artists, on my roster and get them jobs and get them paid working on TV shows and in environments that allow them to grow. as artists, and also make a living doing what they love to do. So the glam agency for me was great for 5 years. I think the pandemic was what pivoted me to Shyft Beauty, because I needed to get out of, I could no longer do business the way that I was doing it with the glam agency, just simply for a lot of reasons, from a liability standpoint to the fact that the industry was just changing. For 7 months, there were no jobs, in beauty, in terms of, on production or on set, because everything was shut down. So I wanted to look at long term. If this ever happened again, I would not be in a position where I could not make a living and do what I love. And so it amplified my desire to really create this intersectionality of beauty and marketing, so that I know that there are always going to be products out there. There are always going to be brands out there that need my expertise. There may not always be people whose faces I can do makeup on, but there's always brands. And so I wanted to be in a position of power with, creating this new business.
Absolutely. I saw that you just started working with Inzuri Beauty. They took you on as the lead global marketing, lead of global marketing. They're actually a podcast alum. I had Keisha on the on the show. Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, Keisha's great. I got connected with her through another mutual friend, and prior to the holidays, and we met. She came all the way here to LA from Bermuda.
Nice.
And yeah, we had a great connection, and such an amazing luxury skincare brand for someone like Keisha to have really a background in finance, but found her way to beauty and created such a beautiful luxury brand, highly effective performance brand, the great branding and packaging, and this the work and the quality that she puts into it. It was absolutely like a thrill to partner with her and to head up global marketing for her brand.
Yes. What exactly does that mean? Like global marketing, bringing it to the world?
Yeah, bringing it to the world. Inzuri Beauty is based in Bermuda.
Yes.
So, it's a brand that is inspired by the luxury of Bermuda, but it's a brand for the world. So we want to be able to move it around the globe in a deserving manner. And so there are a lot of ways that we're doing that. But with the brand still being new, she just launched last year. There's a lot of work to do. So in order to reach sort of that global scale, my job is to help her navigate that growth process.
Nice. Is there anything that you feel like you're able to do differently operating your own marketing firm that you weren't able to do when you were in corporate America, as far as, I guess, the way that they may market to people of color versus people that are not of color?
Yeah, I can be more of an advocate without the politics. When I worked in corporate America, there were, if I worked on the agency side, I couldn't work with another brand because the agency didn't represent that brand, or I couldn't bring it to the table, if there weren't an opportunity to, actually acquire that brand for the business. If I worked in television, when I worked in television, if that brand was not an advertiser, or didn't have the means to advertise on that network because of cost, usually, then I could not, then it was never an option. Now I don't have to worry about those. I don't have to ask anyone anything. I don't have to ask for permission. I just give notice, like, this is what we're doing, and also, I also have an opportunity to advocate for them from the standpoint of, a lot of the brands that I represent are Black female founded brands. We know that they're in the most overlooked, underrepresented, and underfunded, segment of all. So my job is to also to be an advocate and an ally for them in spaces and places that matter. So creating equity for brand founders to, to show up and have a space and a place in beauty, so that they can, a lot of these women are spending their last, their savings. A lot of them are working full-time jobs just to fund their dream. They want to create a legacy. Like, they deserve what everyone else is able to, to enjoy. And so I'm just stepping in the gap as an ally and an advocate for that, in a way that it means that I don't need to ask anyone to do so. I do it because that's a part of my business model.
Absolutely. Where do you see most I say most balls, where do you see most brands, I guess, when they come to you for marketing, where have they struggled or thought that they were doing marketing, but they weren't really, doing anything at all? Like, where do you see most people go wrong with their marketing efforts?
They go wrong because they never had one in the beginning. They never had a marketing plan in the beginning. Most creatives and most brand founders go from idea to execution right away. They're like, oh, I want to develop a hair oil. Let me develop it. Let me do what I need to do, bottle it, and voila.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so who is it for? Why is it necessary? What makes it unique? Who's your competitors? What's your pricing? What do you want? What's your distribution strategy? How are you going to promote it? Did you set
Right.
aside a budget for Facebook ads and marketing? What's your plan for you know what I mean? It's all the things that they just don't know what they don't know. So I'm not
Mhm.
going to fault them for that. That's why I have my business, right? But it's 9 times out of 10, they've missed a huge chunk of what's necessary to scale. So
Mhm.
my job is, again, to help them go back to basics, fill in those gaps, cross those T's and dot those I's, so that when you're ready, and so that we can prepare you to scale. Many of them are just not ready. They think, oh, I have a this beautiful packaging. My logo is the best, and it's like, it can be, but when you go to a buyer and when you present yourself for that next level of retail, the things that they're going to require you to
Mhm.
have, you don't have a brand deck, you don't even have a line sheet, you don't have a lot of them don't have UPC codes. A lot
Right.
of their, some of their marketing on their social media are off. A lot of them don't even know their sales. And so there's so much that I think, so much opportunity for them to be market ready. It's just going to take some expertise. You cannot do it alone. And so a lot of them do try to do it alone. They end up burnt out and broke.
Yeah. I hear that. What's your
Mhm.
overall, I guess, goal for Shyft Beauty at this point?
You know, I the overall goals is continue to grow. We're still young but mighty, and continuing to gain larger brands. I would love to be in a position where I am working with a major fund or financial institution that are able to set aside marketing dollars to help these brands scale. It is the hardest part, because when you think about the marketing dollars, it is coming from a budget and a line item that just does not exist when you're talking about founder brands that are bootstrapping their business.
Mhm.
So I think that there's an equitable play and an equitable opportunity there. So the goal, definitely would be that. The other side of that too is to, create some technology that will help to, provide to help some of these brand founders navigate the marketing process. And so I'm working on some technology, a system that would handle that. In addition to really just, I'm also looking at opportunities to find ways that brands can be amplified. So it was like social shopping networks and things like that that are sort of popping up and that are new, tapping into a lot of the technology, the ways that brands can really get more exposure. So these are things that I want to do. And then in addition to that, I would love to have a content studio. I think it'd be great to have a place where brands can ship me products from around the world, and we use influencers and great branding,
Right.
great photography, great videography to create content that they can use for their own marketing purposes, so in an affordable way. So there's a ton of vision, a ton of plans, and I know we'll get there.
Yes, absolutely. Because I know a lot of people have these big plans, but once they start getting down to the dollars and what it's going to actually cost to produce the ideas that they have, it could get a little discouraging
It can
sometimes.
get it discouraging, yeah, and that's why a lot of them are going after these funds. And I say, go after all the funds, every cohort that you can find, every place that you can do, that you can get the funding to support your business. Do that, because otherwise, it's going to be very challenging. I had a brand, back in 2005, Chic Cosmetics, and I made a tremendous mistake. I had too many SKUs at a time where I probably should have just started small and grow big. So I know the mistakes and I know the pitfalls because I've been there. So I'm
Mhm.
just using those mistakes and that learning to help brands to, to make better choices and to be successful.
Right. And what way has networking played a role in your business? I love networking. I love meeting new people. That's one reason I have the podcast, because I used to host networking events prior to COVID, and then I
Yeah.
can't connect with my people anymore. But I love
Hmm.
networking and I love meeting people. But how has networking played a role in your business growth?
Yeah, networking is vital. I would also go outside of my industry. So I would attend trade shows like Cosmoprof. I'd go up to Vegas and do, attend those trade shows. I'd go to, you know, um, industry packaging product packaging shows. And,
Yeah.
I would go wherever beauty was. And sometimes that's on the manufacturing side, sometimes that's on the trade show side, and then I'd go to industry events. I'd go to anything local that required that allowed us to mix and mingle, among our peers in beauty. But networking is really vital. I think that we have a different way of networking now because of the pandemic, but there are ways to do it. You need to utilize LinkedIn a lot more. LinkedIn is the new network platform, and my goal is to spend less time on Instagram and spend more time on LinkedIn. I see, because of my business, I see a lot more churn, and I see a lot more, just a lot more engagement there for the kind of work that I'm doing.
Right.
And so, yeah, networking is real. Do these virtual events, show up, ask to be on them, if it's necessary, join some of these, groups. There's a lot of subscription programs now, and a lot of places, a lot of Facebook groups. So networking has taken on a virtual, lens, but it's still very vital to do. Don't think that you can't be as dynamic just because you're behind the screen. People are doing it and doing it well, and succeeding, leveraging virtual networking as well.
Yes. With everything that you have going on, like, how are you balancing motherhood, or are you not balancing it? Like, how's that go?
I don't know if I care about balancing it as much as I care about prioritizing it. And I prioritize it. Then that's also another reason why I changed my business the way that I did, because I didn't want to be on set 12, 14 hours a day anymore. I loved working in film and television. My background, my experience, and the depth and breadth of my work in film and television was enough for me. Like, I didn't feel that I needed to go on any other level. I feel like I did hit the ceiling. I conquered, I did all that I needed to do.
Yeah.
But now motherhood, called a different side of me, and it was the most important side of me, to show up and be present for my daughter. So this business also allows me to, end at a certain time. When I decide to end, if I'm ending at 4 o'clock, that's it. Going to pick her up from school, and then we're going off to play in the park, or, going to dinner, or coming home dancing. So it is about prioritizing that, and knowing that she comes first, and that what I'm doing is ultimately for her legacy. And so, yeah, and all the other things that matter to me, like self-care matters to me. So I prioritize that too in my life, and make sure that I get those massages frequently, reflexology, facials, all the things. Like, I know that it is just important to, to have those areas of my life fully defined in a way that makes sense, so that I can be the best professional as well as mom that I can be.
Absolutely. Do you still take clients or do makeup work as frequently?
I do not take any new clients. If you've never worked with me before, you're not going to work with me. I'm pretty much semi-retired. I mean, I never really made a big announcement about it. I do have a few clients that I am still currently with. And it's just because, that's just how the cookie crumbles with them. These are clients that I've been with for a long time, and they don't require a lot from me. And I love to, continue to working with them. So I'm like literally down to 3 that are consistent, and I don't, take on any more. I would say 90% of my business is beauty marketing, and the other 10% is these 3 last lovely clients who I love to work with and continue to want to work with me.
I love that. Do you have any dope moments that stand out from your makeup journey, your career as a makeup artist? Like, one thing that would just like blew your mind, like the opportunity was just like, I don't know.
I would say, I mean, I never did her makeup, but I was in the room with her. I was doing Lynn Whitfield, and they were promoting Greenleaf at the time. And we had a big photo shoot to do for TV Guide magazine. So she brought up her team to Santa Barbara. And unbeknownst to me, Oprah was also in the shoot, because Oprah's the show was on OWN, and of course they would have Oprah over there, right? So I'm doing Lynn's makeup, and Oprah walks into the room with her glam team, and she's already glammed, but she's there for the shoot, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the room with the woman that I love, next to my mom, like she's everything, right? So that for me was just the idea that your career is going to take you to places and in rooms, beyond exceeding your expectations. If I weren't in corporate America, I don't know if that would have led me into a room with Oprah, right? I don't know, but I know beauty did. And so again, no, I didn't do her makeup, but I was in the room doing makeup and doing what I love. And so I had a photo with her, which is, one of my favorite pictures. I take so many copies of it so that I don't ever lose it, just in case iCloud decides that it wants to play games, and in that moment of taking a photo with her, she realized, and I didn't bother her, but she was leaving. And she turned around because she saw me standing. And I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ask. And she's like, do you want to take a photo with me? And I was like, do I want to take a photo with you?
You said it.
Yeah. And then not only that, so we weren't faced the right way. She's like, no, turn this way so we can get the good light. I was like, oh, you are my kind of girl, and she was so gracious, so open, so loving, but her energy, she knew that I wanted it. She tapped into it. I mean, she's Oprah, right? She's got her finger on the pulse of people's spirit and heart. That's why she's able to do what she does, and to be able to transform people the way that she does. So, that was for me, like, I mean, I have other stories, but that would be the pinnacle for me.
I love that. I love the green leaf. That was my show. I know for sure. Anytime that I go in the store and I see a Cream of Nature box, I think about Melissa.
Yeah. That has been a great highlight from a brand partnership standpoint. Cream of Nature, for years, I've been working with them on brand campaigns. So actually being the makeup artist that created looks for the boxes of the colors and of all their products. So 2 years ago, they reached out to me about being a face of their campaign. And I was like, oh, okay. So now I get to step in front of the camera with them, flew out to Atlanta and did their campaign, which was amazing. It was called Shine Different. And I was like, oh God, that's so me, because I feel like that's what I do. And that's what I've done, over my career, is to shine different. That's really the ingredient to my success, is to be different, never following what everyone else is doing, carving out my own path. And so the packaging and the products are actually, starting to hit different markets and places. People have sent me pictures of me, on billboards and in different places. And so it's been really cool to see that campaign work out. But Cream of Nature has been an amazing partner of mine for years.
I love that. I can't wait till I get to that point. I love doing stuff like that. Taking pictures and all that. What are you working on your legacy to be when this is all said and done?
Wow. When this is all said and done, like I said, for me, it is, at any given moment, I can jump on a plane and land on my yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean and sip champagne and watch my daughter run around. And, because for me, working this hard is about freedom. It is about, getting to a point where, I no longer have to worry about the resources coming in, that it's abundantly there, and I'm able to do what it is that I want to do. And then giving my daughter the option to do whatever she wants to do, because money is no object, because, she can go to the best schools and have the best life and, do all the things that matter for her without worrying, without limitations. So that's for me the goal, and there isn't a specific number on that, and but it is definitely the freedom that success, wealth, and abundance comes with, that matters.
I love this. This has been such an amazing conversation. I don't think you go. But before you do, I have to ask you the Friends in Beauty rapid fire questions. Okay. So whatever comes to your mind first, just like spit it out. Okay. So the first one is, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
Persistence, discipline, and perseverance.
Okay. How do you measure your success?
Oh gosh. I think I measure my success, based on like every little moment that I feel that I've made a difference. And that could be something big or something small. That could be whether I'm, touching a face or, giving somebody advice. Those are, I always say, success are micro moments that lead, to bigger things. And so I identify with that a lot.
I like that. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh. I think I would go back to just Oprah, listening to her wisdom, you know, um, about being, what did she say? She said, uh, purpose is not static, it's dynamic.
Mm.
And for me, that really meant a lot when I heard her say that, because I'm always on a quest for better and for more. And, we can all feel like, oh, this is my purpose, like in this moment. But it's always evolving, because the next level of you and the next dimension of you, or the next idea that you then decide to implement, is also a part of your purpose. And so that for me, it was just a testament to keep going, because there's no ceiling on your purpose, because it's dynamic.
I love that. What advice would you give to, I guess, a Black-owned female beauty brand owner who is just ready to give up on their dreams of, seeing their brand go global? I don't know. What advice would you give to those people who want to just give up?
Yeah. I would say don't give up. Obviously, that would be the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would say is find out the why. Why is your brand? Why are you stuck? Why are you stagnant? And that answer can't necessarily just come from you. You may need to reach out to someone who can help you think through those and navigate some of those issues and those moments. I think oftentimes we're stuck because we're at capacity mentally, and so I would say ask. Don't be afraid to ask. You never know where that will lead, and every ask does not have a monetary number next to it. I give a lot of advice for free, sometimes too much, and so you could bump up to someone like me, who's willing to say, hey, you know what, why don't you try this? And will never send you an invoice for it, because that's self-gratification and knowing that they helped to give you that mental freedom in that moment, that aha, that epiphany that you needed to put that jolt back in you, to go back in and continue to work on your brand. So I would say don't give up, ask for help, and and believe in your product. No one can believe in it more than you. Your belief in it is what's going to carry you through the rain and through the storm and through the sunshine. Entrepreneurship has lots of peaks and lots of valleys. You will be tested.
Okay. Getting tested every day.
Yeah, the test is real. You will be tested, but there's a lot of people who've succeeded. There's also a lot of people who have failed, but in it all, there are a lot of lessons learned. And so you just have to figure out, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the one that succeeded? Or do you one that gave up because you were unwilling to do something different?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. What's a resource that helps you out in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
Oh gosh. Canva.
Canva's
yes,
like number one.
I would say get you some Canva in your life. Pay for that premium. It will change your marketing game. It'll change your life. The other resource, get you a good photographer who you can work with, who can show, if you call them like, hey, I need to shoot something, in a week, and they're there. You have a relationship with a professional who's going to capture your likeness, capture your image, capture your brand. You need that person in your life, because we cannot deny we are in the age of social media. We're in the age where quality visuals and quality content, that's just what it is. You can't expect anything less. So for me, having a good photographer in my life, Jonathan Ajau, who's been with me for at least 5 or 6 years, all those great photos that I post on social media, he took them. And so having a great content creator in your back pocket and on your team is really valuable.
Absolutely. I love that. I want you to fill in the blank. This is the last one, and just say,
Okay.
my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
Oh, to longevity and success. Cool.
Because you've been doing this for a while. So.
Okay, so my name is Melissa Hibbert, and the key to longevity and success is to be consistent. Be consistent with who you are.
Love
and
that.
never waver from your calling.
Love it. I love the consistency because I've been consistent for 97 weeks with this podcast.
Oh, good.
I love it. I love it. Every time I release an episode, I'm like 98 weeks. I'm consistent. So
that would be like one of the personal brand endeavors that I think over the next 90 days that I'm going to implement is a podcast. So that's definitely something that I'm working on. So you being on this with you and seeing how you're professionally handling it inspires me with, my endeavor to launch my own podcast soon.
I can't wait to listen. I love podcasts. Thank you so much.
Well, I just may reach out to you for some tips on my own. So
let me know. I love this. But thank you so much for doing this. Like, this is truly a treat for me. You were you've been on my list of people I wanted to interview, but specifically my 2022 list. I've been knocking them off here on my 2022 list. So thank you so much for making this come true for me.
It's my pleasure. I am happy to be here, and thank you again for the invitation.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.